In this lesson, we are going to focus on the sum, the difference, product, and division between fractions. So let's start. What is 3 over 5 plus 8 over 5? So whenever we see the sum of two fractions sharing the same denominator, we can just write down that denominator and then in the numerator sum up numerators that we find in both fractions. So 3 plus 8. And so in this case, it is going to be 11 over 5. Let's try this one. Let's say we have 2 over 7 plus 1 over 7 plus 9 over 7. So what do you think the result is going to be? So first of all, we have the same denominator, so we write down 7 and then we sum up all the numerators on top. So 2 plus 1 plus 9. And so 2 plus 1 is 3, and 3 plus 9 is 12. And 12 over 7 is the solution. Now let's say we have 1/2 plus 1/3. How do we do in this case? Now we don't have the same denominator. We have 2 on one side and 3 in the other one. So in this case, the easiest way is to multiply denominators and then take the first numerator and multiply it by the second denominator. So 1 times 3 plus we take the second numerator and we multiply it by the first numerator. So this is going to be 1 times 2. And so 3 times 1 is 3, 2 times 1 is 2, and 2 times 3 is 6. So 3 plus 2 is 5, and the denominator is 6. So 5 over 6 is the solution. Try this one. We have 4 over 3 plus 1 over 7. How do we proceed? We have different denominators, therefore we multiply them. 3 times 7. Then in the numerator we multiply the first numerator, which is 4, by the second denominator, which is 7, and then we add the second numerator, which is 1, and we multiply it by the first denominator, which is 3. And so 4 times 7 is 28, 3 times 1 is 3, and 3 times 7 is 21. Now 28 plus 3 is 31, and the denominator is 21. So 31 over 21 is the solution. Let's say we have 5 over 12 plus 2 over 15. Now in this case, we could proceed by finding the least common denominator, which is 60. But by following this general rule of multiplying denominators, we can do this more quickly. And so we have 12 times 15 in the denominator, and then we have 5 times 15 in the numerator plus 2 times 12. And so this is going to be 5 times 15 is 75 plus 2 times 12 is 24, and 12 times 15 is 180. So 75 plus 24 is 99 over 180. So the general rule, whenever we have some A over B plus C over D, we multiply denominators, so B times D, and then we take the first numerator, which is A, and we multiply it by the second denominator, which is D. And then we add the second numerator, which is C, and we multiply it by the first denominator, which is B. So this is the general rule for the sum of two fractions. Let's try an example with a difference. Let's say we have 8 over 5 minus 3 over 5. Now the principle is the same, so we have the same denominator, and we write this down. And then we have 8 and 3, and we subtract them. So we are left with 8 minus 3, which is 5 over 5. 5 over 5 can be simplified into 1. Try this one. Let's say we have 1/3 minus 1/2. Now again, the principle is the same. We don't have the same denominator, so we have to multiply both denominators, and we have 3 times 2. Then we multiply the first numerator 1 times the second denominator, and then we subtract it with the second numerator times the first denominator, which is 3. And so 2 times 1 is 2 minus 1 times 3, which is 3, over 3 times 2, which is 6. 2 minus 3 is -1, and 6 is the denominator. So -1 over 6 is the solution. So the general rule for the difference is the same as the rule for the addition. So if we have A over B minus C over D, we have to just multiply both denominators and product numerator and denominator. So A times D minus C times B. Now, how would we find the multiplication between two fractions? Let's say we have 4 over 5 times 2 over 3. Now, to find the multiplication between two fractions, we have to multiply numerator with denominator and denominator with denominator. So here we have 4 times 2, and in the denominator we have 5 times 3. 4 times 2 is 8, and 5 times 3 is 15. Let's try this one. 7 over 5 times 1 over 8. we have to multiply numerator with numerator. So 7 times 1 over denominator times denominator. So 5 times 8. 7 times 1 is 7. 5 times 8 is 40. Now let's say we have 16 over 25 times 10 over 4. Now here we know that 16 is 4 times 4 and 25 is 5 times 5. And we also know that 10 is 5 times 2. So here we can simplify numerators with denominators. So we can simplify a 4 with another 4 and a 5 with another 5. So here we are left with 4 times 2 over 5. And 4 times 2 is 8. So 8 over 5 is the solution. Let's say we have 64 over 49 times 14 over 72. Now we know that 64 is 8 times 8 and 49 is 7 times 7. Also we know that 14 is 7 times 2 and 72 is 8 times 9. So here we can simplify 8 with 8 and 7 with 7. So we are left with 8 times 2 over 7 times 9. Now 8 times 2 is 16 and 7 times 9 is 63. So 16 over 63 is the answer. Now the general rule here for the multiplication is whenever we have some A over B times C over D, we multiply numerators, so A times C, and we multiply denominators, so B times D. Now, how can we divide two fractions? Let's say 1 over 2 divided by 3 over 4. Now, here the rule is whenever we divide by another fraction, we write the first fraction. We convert the division into multiplication. And then we flip upside down the second fraction. So instead of 3 over 4, we have 4 over 3. And so 1 times 4 is 4, and 2 times 3 is 6. Now we can simplify divided by 2 numerator and denominator, and we are left with 2 over 3. Now let's try this one. Let's say we have 8 over 5 divided by 12 over 7. So again, we keep the first fraction, 8 over 5. We turn division into multiplication, and we flip upside down the second fraction, so 7 over 12. Now, we can also write 8 as 2 times 4 and we can write 12 as 3 times 4. So we can cancel out 4 in numerator and denominator, and we are left with 2 times 7 over 5 times 3. Now 2 times 7 is 14, and 5 times 3 is 15. Try this one. Let's say we have 10 over 13 over 2 over 7. Now, since the fraction is a division itself, we can just write this like 10 over 13 divided by 2 over 7. And now we can apply the rule. So we keep the first fraction, 10 over 13. We turn the division into multiplication, and then we flip upside down the second fraction, so 7 over 2. So here we can simplify 10 with 2, and it becomes 5 and 1, and so we are left with 5 times 7, which is 35, over 13 times 1, which is 13. So here the general rule for the division of two fractions is this. If we have some a over b divided by c over d, we write the first fraction, so we keep a over b. We turn division into multiplication, and then we flip the second fraction, so d over c.